That's from Misbah al-Anam, pages 112 to 114. He also stated, quote, Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab and his followers are people of innovation. And that is because they contradict all of that which has been handed down. Misbah al-Anam, pages 112 to 114. We then have Imam Abdullah ibn al-Basri. He died in 1225 Hijri, 1810. Attempted murder twice. He escaped the assassin's sword twice, even when it was poisoned twice. He's in a miraculous island. He said, he wrote in a book called Lightning and Thunder, an answer to the cursed Ibn Saud. Quote, so from those issues with him is the claim to prophethood. This was manifested by him, not explicitly by speech, but this was done implicitly, so that the people would not reject it immediately and bear witness to what the scholars have mentioned. But what the scholars have mentioned is that Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, in the beginning of his affair, was shown to have reached the level of a false prophet and a liar of the same capacity as Musaylimah, Sajjah, Al-Aswad al-Ansi, Fulayha al-Asadi, and others. But as for his father, he was a pious man. Close quote. This is taken from the Sahih al-Anam, pages 6 through 8. We have Imam Muhammad ibn Humayn al-Hanbali, who was contemporary to his grandsons. He died 1295 to 1878. There were death threats and even a trial in absentia in which people said he should be killed from the movement. He said, quote, in his book, The Low-Hanging Clouds Over the Graves of the Hanbalis, quote, this man, Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, is the bringer of this call whose evil has spread and engulfed the horizon with darkness. But it is clearly mentioned in history that he did not begin to propagate his ideas publicly while his father was alive. This is from volume 2, pages 675 to 676 of the aforementioned text. We then have Imam Abdul Aziz al-Hamid, died 1231, 1816 AD. He was murdered. He was cut down by swords. He was an opponent of the movement. He was the nephew of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. He lived in the aftermath of the pogroms, the depopulations, the murder of the ulama. And he suffered greatly. He was tortured and then murdered. Imam Hasan ash-Shatti, considered Sheikh al-Islam, died 1274 Hijri, AD 1858. He had received numerous death threats. He said, quote, I've read this general message with regard to the matter of revealed laws that relates to some doubts that were raised by some ignorant people who do not necessitate kufr in principle, while some of it may be beneficial in consideration. Ibn Abdul Wahhab has declared them to be kafir due to this action as stated in his letter, in addition to his declaring their blood and wealth illicit for spilling and seizure. This belief was reached due to what appeared to their people by the outward import of the explicitly worded text of revealed law, built upon their founders' ignorance, hatred, and bad thoughts about the believers. May Allah curse whoever has this creed, for indeed, whoever declared a believer to be a kafir has already committed kufr. Close quote. This is taken from the divine text, pages 29 through 30. We then have Imam Dawood ibn Sulaiman ibn Jurjis al-Khalidi, died 1299 or 1882. Again, attempted murder twice by sword point. He survived both times, even though the sword was driven in. This is a brave man for just writing a book. He said, quote, I received a letter from some people in India asking about people claiming to have reached the level of absolute ijtihad and that they did not need to follow the four methods. May Allah be pleased with them. And they claimed that Allah did not make it compulsory on the people to follow these, and that this group depends on the book and the sunnah, and those people in India asked me to prepare a work in refutation of this dirty innovator, and to show the evil of their statements, so that no one will be deceived by someone like them or someone else. Close quote. This is taken from ash-Shatti jihad ala da'wa al-ijtihad, ash-Shatti jihad, ibtal al-da'wa al-ijtihad, the greatest jihad in nullifying the claim of those claiming absolute jihad, pages 42 to 43. This alim says in another place, quote, there has appeared in our time some people who've contradicted the book and the sunnah and the methods. They've called the ummah of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, astray, and declared their blood and wealth illicit for spilling and seizure in these doubtful and unsubstantiated matters. I thought and sought the help of Allah in answering them using these few pages, in the hope that Allah would guide them aright, and this is the noblest means for support and help. This is the Minah al-Wahhabiyya, the Rada al-Wahhabiyya, the beautiful gifts in answering Muhammad Abdul Wahhab, pages The Imam said further, he said further, you should know that the only ones to deny the wonders of the saints are the Khawarij and the Mu'tazila, and also the Rafida, according to what's been mentioned by Imam Ibn Taymiyyah. And this happens due to the fact that they have no people of saintliness among them. So there's no wonder or saintliness in them. And peace and blessings of Allah are upon our Master Muhammad, his family and companions. Close quote. It's taken from the Bountiful Gifts and Answers of Muhammad Abu Wahhab, pages 41 through 42. We then have Imam Abdullah bin Sufyan al-Qudum. Again, there were two attempts on his life. One of them in Medina, in Masjid al-Nabawi of all places. Can you imagine someone trying to kill you in the masjid? But that's what happened. And he was a Shaykh of Islam. He says, he died 1331 AH, AD 1913, quote, they have exaggerated in speech. They use in every strange way and utterance or strange action. There's no doubt that these people are blinded by the creed and deeds and have opposed the way of the believers and separated from the group of the Muslims. And we belong to Allah, to Him is our return. Shaitan has made fair seeming to them their evil deeds, hindered them from the way. And we've already quoted from the message given by Sulaiman ibn Abdul Wahhab and answered his brother, and Allah knows best. And from that which has been mentioned is that the authentic narrations and trustworthy texts are proof on that one must adhere to the collectivity of the Muslims and take by what has been given by their leader. And this is compulsory for all the people who believe in the oneness of Allah. And whatever opposes that, then they've already sought their own destruction. This is according to the words of the Prophet ﷺ, there will be after me those who you see contradicting the collective. Or they want to break up the collective of my ummah. Whoever does that, kill him, be whoever he may. He also said, the hand of Allah is over the collective. Close quote. This is from Travels in Arabiya, pages 132 to 133. Then the Imam mentioned an important point that I didn't write here. He says, the Imam said, quote, and so the Imam mentioned that these hadith on the subject of the Khawarij, all of the people of knowledge told those who did this in the time of Ali to be Khawarij, and those now in our time to be Khawarij. And I will say for the record that the matter is just as he mentioned regarding those who went against the companions of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but the Khawarij in our time share with them in the attributes that they recite the Qur'an and it does not go past their throats. And we have witnessed and seen their state firsthand. They speak the best words. People feel low when comparing their salah to these people. And these very ones kill Muslims and leave idol worshippers. This is taken from Travels in Arabiya, pages 117 to 119. Imam Mustafa ash-Shatti, rahimahullah, the author of this work, a supreme scholar, a great figure of knowledge, he says what? He died 1348 or 1929. Three times attempted murder. Quote, it is Ibn Abdul Wahhab who is responsible for this issue and the other issues mentioned, who has brought about this hastily thrown together set of principles. There's nothing in these principles except manifest darkness amidst warring and tribulation. It is the creed of the people of Hammurabi being propounded as well as the devices of Shaitan being used. And may Allah preserve us and the Muslims from that calamity. Ameen. This is from the Divine Text, page 38 through 39. The Imam says at another point, he says, it is the cursed Najdi group. This is pages 36 through 37. We now have the Maliki method. Imam Ahmad as-Sawi, rahimahullah, died 1241 or 1826 AD. Death threats. Scholar of Muslim. He says, quote, so this verse has been revealed in regards to the Khawarij and their distortion of the meanings of the Qur'an and the Sunnah as they declared it lawful to kill Muslims, shed their blood, and take their wealth. And this has been seen in their recent appearance of a cult in Hijaz who are known as Wahhabis. They think they are upon something, but they are liars. Shaitan is taking control of them, and they forgot their remembrance of Allah. They are Shaitan's group, and indeed Shaitan's group are the losers, and may Allah exterminate them completely. Close quote. This is taken from Hashan al-Jalalain, volume 3, pages 254 to 255. We must understand, ulama don't say these things for no reason. There's a reason why these ulama said these things in the way that they said them. Imam Ahmad died 1250 or AD 1834. Again, attempted murder once on his life, but he wasn't home. He said, quote, in the year 1229, AD 1814, we received great news about the Ottoman Khilafah taking the sacred precincts of Mecca and Medina back from the cult of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab and his followers. And when it was announced, it was a relief and a great news to everyone. When a message was sent to Tunis from this group, it was advised by Abu Muhammad Mahmud Basha that it must be answered. The answer came from the Imam Abu Fidal Ismail al-Tamimi, who wrote a long book named The Divine Portents and Explaining the Estratus of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. Imam Abu Hafs Umar al-Maliki also wrote a book on them, and this man is the splendor of the method and torchbearer of the school in this age. Close quote. This is taken from important news for the people of this time about what happened to the covenant of safety. It's pages 2 and also 5 through 6. The Imam said further, he said, quote, so when this reply was sent, the successor of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab did not answer, but he continued his warfare and killing. This is also taken from the same text, pages 16 through 17. Imam Muhammad Ilish died 1298 Hijri, AD 1881. Death threats. He fought against Muhammad Rashid Rida and drove them out of Al-Azhar by preaching against them, but at one point he chased Muhammad Adbul with a sword. Again, a very great scholar. We have Imam Yusuf al-Dijli, rahimahullah, died 1346 or AD 1927. Death threats. He explained and quoted other authorities to show that the creed of Muhammad Abdul Wahhab's organization is a false creed. He lived during the time of the grandsons and others. Now we have the Shafi'is. Imam Alawi al-Haddad, who died 1216 or AD 1801 in his work, he received death threats. The illuminated lamp and clarifying the dangers and darkness of the one coming from Najd that has led common people astray. He said in this book, quote, and as we had mentioned from the Shaykh, the learner, the wise one, Sheikh Abu Ja'far Al-Hanbali al-Basri, it is the case that he, Muhammad Abdul Wahhab, claimed prophethood implicitly, but not outright, and did not expose his affair in the beginning. Close quote. That's taken from pages 5 through 6. The Imam also says, quote, and in one chapter we will speak about the kufr of what the wretched Najdi said about Imam Abu Hanifa not being upon anything, and refusing to follow the Imams, their books, rulings, and conclusions. Close quote. That's from the same text, pages 23 through 24. We have another Shafi'i Imam, Imam Muhammad Salim al-Kurdi, who died 1216 or 1801. He received numerous death threats. He said, quote, praise be to Allah alone. There's no doubt in that the knowledge of deriving rulings is taken from scholars. Whoever has his books as a sheikh, and his mistakes are more than when he's correct. The claims of absolute ijtihad today are generally coming from the slave who is far from it. Imams al-Rafi'i, al-Nawawi, and those who preceded them like Fakhruddin al-Razi have come to agree then as today that there are no absolute mujtahids. Imam Ibn Hajar al-Haytami has mentioned in his rulings that there has not been an absolute mujtahid since Imam al-Shafi'i and contemporaries with him. Imam Ibn al-Salah said it's been more than 300 years since an absolute mujtahid has existed. The Imam says further, so the quote, so the one claiming absolute ijtihad, it is necessary such a one return to truth and abandon false hopes. With regard to his calling Muslims unbelievers, that it has been explicitly stated by the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when the man says to another kafir, then one of them is a kafir. So the one who's throwing such a charge at a Muslim is a kafir, according to ash-Shatti Kabir by Imam al-Rafi'i. The Imam says further, I'll quote him, this is because he is calling Islam kufr, and this is followed by Imam al-Nawawi and is dependent upon ruling for the latter-day scholars of the school. This is taken from Misbah al-Anam, pages 161 to 163. Imam Zaini Tahlan, rahimahullah, attempted murder one time. Attempted murder one time. He survived it, alhamdulillah. He died in 1304 or 1886. He said, quote, and so he named those who followed them in his movement in Ad-Dar'iyah as helpers, and those who immigrated to him as immigrants. The outward form of the state of Muhammad Abdul Wahhab is that he claimed prophecy implicitly, but could not venture to come out fully. In the beginning of his affair, he traveled the same way as Mustafa the liar, As-Sajjah, Al-Aswad al-Ansi, Tulayha al-Asadi, and others. So by looking at this, one can see he was going about this.